Welcome back. The 1 hour laser challenge with me, who's put his poppy too low to be seen on camera. Miguel, who's put his poppy too low to be seen on camera. And the ever professional Amy. How are you guys? Thank you all so much for watching. Today is a special edition. It's a Remembrance Day edition, of course, a Veterans Day edition. And we hope wherever you are, you're having a great day. We thank you so much for joining us here. Same laser time, same laser channel every week. This is the 1 hour design challenge, where every week Miguel and I and the talented Amy, and Miguel's talented too, don't get me wrong, we take a project or a technique or something cool that we can make in our Rayjet Laser, and we task these two to try and either teach you guys or show it to you guys within 60 minutes. This week is going to be a little bit special because everything is going to be themed obviously towards the holiday, but on top of that, I want to introduce a very special guest who's just walked off camera, but that is okay because we still love him. If you guys watched last week, or especially in the last couple weeks, you'll know Johnny. How are you?
Very well, and yourselves?
Pretty good, pretty good. Happy to have you here, man.
Likewise, genuine pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, yeah, very happy to. You have one of the best Trotec Laser Instagram accounts. At very least, look, it's one of my favorites.
That's a genuine honor. Thank you.
I'll throw it out there. It's very true. That's exactly right.
I'll take that all day.
As we mentioned, guys. Oh, and then obviously popping in on the side, there's the laser cam. That is our producer, Lev. Ta-da!
Hi, Lev.
That was really smoothly done. Yes. You guys would think that we rehearsed this, but okay. So, as I was saying, if you've never watched before, this will be a perfect week to get started because it is a very, very cool week for the 1 hour design challenge. With 3 designers on today and 3 separate lasers. We have 2 Rayjets, and I think, Johnny, are you going to use a Rayjet? Are you going to use a Speedy? What's the plan?
The plan was I'm going to use one of these fine Rayjets.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. We saw what looked like a 500 in the back there, and we thought maybe you were gonna.
No, just regarding the bigger machines, my colleague Alex is also milling around in the building. He
Excellent.
said, direct quote, "I'll try not to cause any fires in the background." So
good call. Good call.
We'll see how that
goes. Well, we have had 1 flood already, so you know what I mean. It'll be tough to top the flood week. I will say though, I think our project this week are going to maybe set it apart. I know Miguel. I kind of know what you have planned. But I have no idea yet what Johnny and Amy are going to be doing. It is a total surprise. So if you guys are ready, maybe we want to jump right in. If you guys have any questions, obviously, Lev mentioned it in the chat. Please say hello. Let us know, where you're watching from. I think we're going to, throughout the stream here, maybe have a chance to get to know Johnny a little bit better. But I want to get you guys going because the clock is going to start ticking here pretty soon. Really quickly. So I have a question here from High Volt that I just want to get out of the way right away because it's one of the most popular questions we ever get. And I will throw it because I know, Johnny, you have a lot of experience with the lasers. Obviously, we can't talk about price because, unfortunately, it differs from country to country and that sort of thing. But in your opinion, sir, if somebody was to ask you the difference between a Chinese laser and sort of the Trotec Rayjet, what might you tell them? What might be the standout things to keep in mind?
What indeed? Well, first and foremost is precision. Absolutely, that's something you're going to get from it.
I think
Johnny, you're muted.
Oh yeah, you got muted.
Just
Dang.
muted. Not yet. Your mic disconnected, I think.
That's all right.
So did Amy. What is happening in the UK?
Whoa. Spooky.
I was going to say, Amy, are you joining us from a different place today, or is it just decorated slightly differently?
No, I've decorated. It's got like fairy lights all over.
That's all right.
Enough.
If you guys missed it a couple weeks ago, when we were doing Spooky Month, Amy dressed up her entire workspace in stream appropriate holiday themed decorations, and it was fantastic. I've never seen a Halloween tree before, but it was excellent.
Yeah, we're getting decorated over here. We've got the stuff from last week that we did.
I
It's
saw it.
hanging on the wall, but it's too big. It's too heavy.
We actually just Miguel and Lev were picking out some of his best, like our best and brightest from the stream so far. We set up a big, I don't want to say like a trophy cabinet, but we set up like a big bookshelf at the front of the office to be able to show off some of the stuff that we're most proud of.
That's what I said. I hope you're keeping some of these.
Absolutely. No, we're keeping them all. We just weren't sure how best to display them because like there's only so much space on the wall behind Miguel and we don't necessarily want to, you know what I mean, fill it all up. It seems silly to fill it with our own samples. You know what I mean? Like, Johnny, welcome back. Sorry
Thank you.
about that.
Apologies for that. Can you hear me all right now?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah, so turns out I plugged the USB for the microphone in by like 1 millimeter, so it just nudged out, and that was that.
I like when
So-
things like that happen. It reminds people that it is live. You know, stuff happens.
Total professionalism. Well, this is the first and last time you're going to have me on, isn't it? So,
No, it's endearing. I find it's endearing. At least
Thank you,
sir.
so just to go back to the question, yeah, so precision is absolutely something you're going to find the difference between something like the Rayjet compared to a Chinese machine, both in terms of the precision with which you can move your laser positioning, but also the precision with which you can use your laser. A lot of the Chinese kit's going to be what's called a glass tube laser, so you don't get a lot of control over it. You tend to be just blowing the material to pieces rather than engraving it with any real finesse. So that's part of it, certainly, but also the quality of the service you're going to get from the likes of ourselves. We've got a lot of resources, so very very talented engineers and application specialists always on hand to help you out with anything, which you obviously wouldn't get with some of the more budget kit.
That's very true. I can speak to that. We had one of your very generous technicians come over and visit us late last year and spend a couple weeks in Canada, and he was awesome. We had Daniel come to visit us, and he is just a wicked
Daniel's
guy.
a lovely bloke.
Yeah, he helped us out a lot.
We do our best.
So I have to ask, Miguel, do you want to talk a little bit about what you want to do this week? I mean, I probably want to kick it off here pretty quick, but do you want to give us sort of an insight into what you're thinking?
I mean, I've been trying to raise my eyebrow, but sure, you're talking about the project, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing a play for Remembrance Day, so pretty cool. We've been talking since last week, which is something new, right? Normally we decided the project like a day before, but this one we already had a theme. So I've actually just finished engraving. We had to do this before the stream, I think half an hour before, because the engraving was going to take a little bit of time, and I didn't want to take the time from the stream, right? I cannot show you guys right now how it looks already, because I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to cut a second layer and put it on top of it. It's going to be a nice block. How do you?
Plaque?
Plaque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Portuguese is placa, so I don't know how to pronounce that in English.
Placa. Okay, I'm learning. This is an educational stream.
So the screen sharing part of it. So this is what I was doing, and I'm gonna Control Z that because, well, So I took some JPEGs. I put the what's the name of this? A Flanders Field poem, right?
Yep.
And we engraved it. So I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna just Control Z. I'm gonna cut that on wood. Then we're gonna put throw lights. Is that it? Love? Throw lights? Throw things. Gold. Around, yeah, dude.
I've taught you nothing. I've failed you.
To know the whole catalog in my head. Yeah. So it's gonna be like a gold strip around the plaque, and then I'm gonna glue on top of another layer of wood so it gets like thick and nice, So, and then we're gonna put it on the shelf right in front of our office door. So yeah, that's
awesome.
basically it. And if I have enough time, I have a couple of acrylics here, and I'm gonna do my very own poppy, with a couple of acrylics, and see if I can do something on the style of what's the name? Kuma Crafts, because I like her style, and I don't know if I can.
Kuma Crafts is great. I'll see if I'll bring up her Instagram. Yeah.
Amy's a fan. Amy's like, yeah, Fraser.
Yeah.
I'm in love with her.
She actually joined us for a Laser Jam, like a Friday sort of interview podcast a couple of weeks ago. That's on our YouTube channel, and I highly recommend it. Her work is unreal. She's one of the very talented people on Instagram who reminds me that no matter how much time I spend around lasers, I do not know what I'm doing with lasers. There are people out there who are really, really talented.
Or they have much more time to do that. Oh man,
thank you, Miguel.
Yeah, like don't give me a guy like an artist that does some cuts in geometric wall hangers and art pieces with lasers. Is insane, man.
I can pull up his stuff as well. I mean, if you guys are ever lacking for inspiration, obviously, check out Johnny Trotec, check out Mischief Pop on Instagram, and then after that, go to the stuff that they like because they have good taste. And then after that, come check out the stuff that we also like. I mean, do all three, of course.
I'm in far too grand company there.
I don't know about that. Listen, the time I saw the Command and Conquer stuff that you'd made on your Instagram, I said, like, this is a good man. Well, listen, I mean, I see that you guys are already off and running. Miguel, I will not stop you, man. Do your thing. I wanted it to be a surprise for what you guys were going to get down to, but I saw Amy.
Stop him. I need to catch up.
By all means, please. Thank you, love, for showing up some of the. This is some of the great stuff that Kuma Crafts makes. She makes a combination of jewelry, all sorts of beautiful, beautiful inlaid and like hand assembled.
Look at that, man! Like this is beyond
unreal.
Like what?
Crazy.
This is beyond. Like I don't know what she can do with acrylic is insane.
I'll follow that account too. It's phenomenal. Some of the stuff.
And the thing is that it's so consistent as well. It's that she is constantly putting out new stuff. When we talked to her a couple weeks ago, she even talked about, I don't think she does it quite so much anymore, but she would do even bespoke or custom pieces for people. And I just think about, like, I wouldn't even know how to begin to wrap my head around setting something like that up. I've watched Miguel make a light box, like a shadow box. And even that, in the beginning, I had no clue how the hell he was going to do it. Forgive me. Okay, whose screen do I have here? I think it's Johnny's.
I think that's me, yeah.
You're a Corel man?
Yeah, and I can see he's pretty faceted as well.
I was gonna
amateurish Corel man, I think you'll find.
I don't know. So far, I'm quite impressed. So what was your sort of? Well, I should say first and foremost. So if this is your first time, getting to meet Johnny, and I mean, if you don't live in the UK, admittedly, I can forgive you. Johnny, how long have you? I don't want to distract you too much, but
no, it's cool.
A bit about how long have you been with the company? Like, what do you do with Trotec in the UK? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, where to begin? I've been working with lasers now it's got to be getting on for 15 years. First laser job was actually being in charge of engraving a Formula One team, long time ago.
Really?
So there we were engraving serial numbers and barcodes onto every single bit of the car, like the tiny little washers and shims and everything. Like everything got a barcode. So that was fun. And then since then we've been all around the world fixing lasers, building lasers, and for the last few years trying to convince them that they're worth parting with some cold hard cash for.
I mean,
which of course they are.
I was gonna say, you know how we feel about that. We may be slightly biased in fairness, but
not exactly a neutral party in this, granted.
That's really, really cool. I mean, listen, if you worked with a Formula One team, then you know for sure that if Johnny tells you that the Trotec is the fastest laser, that he's not messing with you. That is absolutely the truth.
Absolutely.
I didn't realize that. I mean, it just goes to show, this is going to sound maybe a little bit silly, but it just goes to show that all the stuff we talk about with the lasers reaching into markets that you wouldn't necessarily always expect is absolutely the truth. I mean, if someone had told me that there were lasers in Formula One outside of perhaps, speedometers or, God, I don't even know. But I mean, of course, it makes sense, right? It just speaks to the versatility of what they can do.
Absolutely. There's nothing you can't do with a laser.
I'm very curious now, about your design process for how you went about. So first and foremost, if you were gonna put together a copy that I'm watching you put together. So when you began this design, are you like Amy? Do you start with sort of a pencil sketch, or are you sort of straight into the vectors in Corel? What does your workflow look like typically?
Planning.
Okay, that's a good answer.
No, in all seriousness, no. A lot of my stuff is just kind of geometric shapes. To call me a designer is excessively kind. I've always considered myself more of a laser applications guy, so I will take someone else's idea, make the laser dance, and make it beautiful and make it real. Designing things and actually going through the creative process never really been the forte. It's kind of been a learned skill rather than any kind of natural ability.
I hear you.
As you can see, me struggling through this.
Not at all. Not at all. I actually think it's cool because it's one of these things. Might Johnny be able to give a quick tour of his workspace if you guys have time? I mean, I will leave that entirely up to Johnny, but I bet that'd be really cool. If being as I've never gotten to visit the UK, I'm curious to sort of see. I've heard great things again from when Daniel visited last year about the setup that you guys have. I know Amy must have visited the office at some point.
Yes, the northeast one.
You've been to the northeast, I believe. Yeah. So that's our main UK head office up in the northeast near Newcastle. We've also got 5 other sites around the UK and 1 in Ireland, which kind of comes under our wing too.
That's cool. Wow.
So I'm a bit of a nomad, really. There's not a showroom that's less than an hour drive for myself, so I basically go where I'm needed. I'm down in Guildford near London today, but I go wherever the business needs me to be.
That's very cool. Now, this is a chance I may be embarrassing myself here, but we have
please do.
Jan who's watching the stream and mentions that they're from Chester, and I'm not familiar with English townships necessarily.
That's far from unique.
But I do assume. Oh, that's beautiful.
All right.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That's part 1. Okay. So it's not focused. Yeah, that's part 1. Took a little bit of time, guys, and it's kind of you see, this is the veneer, right? The shiny thing when you engrave. I mean, like in front of it. Right? This is the veneer coming out. Yeah, so if you don't want that, correct me if I'm wrong, Johnny, but you use a masking tape, or if you don't use a masking tape, you just clean it up with magic eraser, which is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
this is more my forte, just helping people with their designs, making it look good. This is me. This is what I do. So.
When I said we were excited to have you here, believe you me, it was not false modesty. I'm very excited to have you here. Some of these questions that Miguel throws at me, I have a bad habit of just sort of.
Wait! We got to stop here. I throw questions at you. I'm doing this stuff all the time in Illustrator, and then you come with like 5 different questions that I have to answer.
That's very true. That's very true. And it's in the midst of while you're trying to do something.
Exactly.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, Miguel.
Yeah, exactly right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got more questions than he knows what to do with.
Yeah, I'm already like planning to buy a 500 to put in my living room.
Yeah, it is the only piece of furniture at present, but it is a really nice piece of furniture.
Exactly. Why do I need a couch? I need 500 though.
Yeah, exactly.
I can build a couch with a 500. A bunch of stools. That's true, is it?
That is absolutely true. Wow. Hold on. Okay, yes. Lev just sent me a good note, and I completely agree with him. I want to make my way over to Amy's screen. I'm noticing that the English poppy design is slightly different than the Canadian one. That's fallen out of my shirt. Sorry, everyone. I'm just going to look around while I make sure I don't sit on a pin that's now in my.
Don't step on the pin. Oh my goodness! You don't need first aid running in.
There we are.
It's worse than Lego.
Yeah, Lego and like Micro Machines cars. It's basically.
I'll tell you what, the UK electrical plug is particularly brutal for that as well. So if you ever do visit the UK, watch out. Don't unplug something and leave it on the floor because.
I can agree. Yeah, I can confirm that.
It's a fierce. I've seen a few of the Europeans when the machines come over from Austria and they have the original plugs still in them, and they are scary looking. Amy, I wanted to ask. Oh, I might have lost your screen. Let me see if I can pull it back. But you, I think, we're doing kind of your typical workflow this week, right? You began with a hand sketch.
Yeah, start with a sketch, work up from the iPad, bring it onto the computer. Just need to export everything onto CorelDRAW now.
Because we had the KumaCrafts stuff up earlier, I did want to ask you, and of course Miguel and Johnny as well, but I'll start with you, if like lapel pins or pins was something you had ever tried making before, because there's something I see a lot of online in terms of Etsy stores and things like that. It's a cool way to, and I believe I even saw, so after you posted your pie, your apple pie on the last sort of spooky stream, there was somebody on Instagram that you followed that I think took the design and converted it into a lapel pin in 2 different colors, the black and red lapel pins. And I think you liked the post, so I feel safe in saying that I'm pretty sure you saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, are we having crossovers now? Is that what's going on?
Well,
Like,
this is it. So I was curious if you guys have ever tried doing lapel pins before, and then I want to start bringing up some really cool Instagram stuff. I also want to acknowledge the wizardry that Lev is operating this camera with, swapping back and forth. You're the best, bud. I really appreciate it.
Majestic.
Yes, indeed. Okay, let me see. I am going to potentially pull up some cool stuff on Instagram here, but in the meantime, I wanted to ask you guys if that was something, that you had ever gotten to try before. Amy, had you ever done like jewelry with any of your designs or anything like that?
No, the only time I've ever done jewelry was the geometric animals that we did for the live stream.
That one was pretty good, I've got to say.
That was just out with MDF and just put some gold leaf on it.
Do you remember the Mario piranha plant that we made?
Yeah, with the earrings. Yeah,
Yes.
I do remember now.
You got to do something like that again. That was pretty fun. And that one I actually designed before coming to the stream, so not only was it a success, but looked good.
That's true. That one actually is the very first one that comes up in our little 30-second countdown. So I'm not sure if you guys get to see it at the very start there every time, but it's probably in my top 3 designs that Miguel's ever done for the stream. That and the ramen clock is probably one of my other favorites. I really like that clock. It doesn't. Now, I will confess, it doesn't technically work as a clock, and that's mostly my fault. But it it is really beautiful to look at, which I would argue is equally important.
Still right twice a day.
That's right. Thank you. You're welcome back anytime, sir.
We haven't got to the end yet.
And on that note of foreboding, thank you, Lev. Yes. So whoever screen you see there is going to be the person who's in the top left of the screen. We're able to drag the different people around on the side now, and this is a new tool with which we have not gotten bored yet. Also, Amy, were you able to get everything into Corel that I could? Yes, you did.
Oh.
Let me pop that in, and I will scoot Amy to the top of the list. That was the sound of you scooting.
But to answer your question about pins, I never did pins, but I never used pins before today. So,
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What I mean? I never used pins.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Don.
Man.
Up until like 2 years ago, I only used to wear t-shirts and like cargo pants. I only started like wearing nice clothes after I came to Canada.
I mean, on behalf of all Canadians, we appreciate it. You're great.
This is way too hot for you to wear nice clothes.
It certainly isn't here at the moment, I can tell you that.
I was going to say, yeah. Somehow we always seem to come back to weather as well. Miguel always makes fun of me, but somehow I always seem to steer the conversation back to weather. I don't know why.
It's a top trump category that the UK is never going to win, unfortunately.
Especially
but we don't mind.
Well, you guys have so I know you have a lot of rain, but outside of that, is the weather quite moderate, or is it, what does winter in the UK look like?
Yeah, a lot of rain basically, but it's not like wild extremes of temperature. We're never like minus 30 or plus 40 or anything like that. So
that's all right then. I mean, you guys know which, if you're looking for that minus 30 experience, which Trotec to come to. We've got you covered here in Canada. It's not a problem.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, if you're in the mood for something perhaps a bit more conducive to human life and relaxation, then you might perhaps consider the UK.
You want to turn yourself into a human popsicle?
That's the one. Yeah.
There's something for the tourist board. Habitable climate.
Yeah, exactly. Technically not harmful to humans, provided. Just watching Miguel inlay this thins, you guys would not believe the level of. Well, actually, I know Amy and Johnny would agree because you've done it before. But that 3M adhesive, trying to lay that on perfectly, is not easily done.
You can watch me fail at that in a little while, if you like. To be honest.
That's literally why I've got the full screen button, ready to go.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed, this is like the level of hubris that I display on these streams when I don't have to design anything and I'm able to sit back and cause trouble for those who do is just.
Well, you did have to that one week. You have experienced the pain of it.
Mm-hmm. And more disconcertingly, Miguel experienced how easy and great my job is.
It was so fun to sit there. It's actually a very nice chair.
It's really nice chair. Rodna mentions that we should come visit Australia. That is lovely. Oh, Miguel, that's really nice, man.
So I'm gonna put another layer in the back, so it just looks more like a plaque, and not just a piece of wood. And let me go closer, because the poppies are a little bit dark on the engraving.
Came out really nice.
Yeah, gotta clean that up a little bit, let's keep going.
So this is maybe a foolish question, but so those poppies, they were done in grayscale in the original design, like in the original file?
Oh man. Okay, so I took a file from. Oh, I gotta remove this. There's a plastic on top of the strobe. Okay, so what I did. Okay, I'm going back to my computer. What I did was I found Google poppy, poppy flower. I took a picture, and then I went to, believe it or not, Corel Draw. I thought about going to Photoshop, and I would normally go to Photoshop, but I think Corel Photo Paint is way faster if it's just to do a simple image. If I'm not doing photo engraving, I just go to Photo Paint and do it there. Right? And then I saved as a PNG, went to Illustrator, and did the rest. So I did the text, I chose the font, I got the soldier from a different image on also the internet. It's a very low quality soldier, to be honest. If you can even kind of see the pixels compared to the poppies. The poppies were very high quality. Everything else.
Yeah, sorry. You meant the resolution. For a second, my brain went, well, I'm sure he was a perfectly good soldier. Sorry. Go on. I'm sorry.
I'm sure he tries his best.
Yeah. Let's not forget, Miguel.
Yeah, exactly. So this is how I did this. And I engraved first, bought a coffee, came back, started cutting. Because there's a lot. So if you're engraving something like this, it takes a while, Especially I even flip, and this is something that if you guys are engraving, and Johnny and Amy can vouch for me, if you can make it more horizontally, if you just flip to a horizontal design, it will be faster, right? Because the arm moves faster from left to right than up and down. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And if I try to do that like vertically, it would take much more time,
True.
So I did it horizontally, and that's another tip for you guys if you're engraving something that is, one of the axes is too long, just flip it sideways.
No, absolutely right. And that means if you've got an object that you can fit multiple of in the machine at the same time, then it's always better if you can get multiples in. So the laser's at full speed, zipping back and forth, engraving all of them at once. It's so much faster. You can get so much more out of your machine.
Absolutely. That's a good tip that sometimes we forget to mention. But if you're looking to increase your productivity, one of the best things you can do, Miguel and John, you're exactly right, is try and set your layup out left to right in order that, you would be surprised at the time savings you can achieve just by such a simple adjustment to the way that you kind of do the pre-flight of your work. I was going to mention too. So I think what Miguel's engraving also shows is that the Rayjet is capable of the same level of like really fine grain quality that any of the other speedies and stuff are. Just because the Rayjet is a little bit smaller than some of the machines, like the one over Johnny's shoulder there, doesn't mean it's any less capable than any of the other machines, kind of thing. I mean,
in fact, it's more capable than that one. That's a glass tube machine. So these are Rayjet is infinitely better. We did some back-to-back testing with this one, that one, the other week. The Rayjet, twice as fast to engrave and a much better quality too.
Yeah, I gotta be honest here. This week I was cutting 6 mil on the Rayjet without any issues. So that was wow.
6 mil,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. I was just like testing out, for a customer because anyway. So I had a case and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna test 6 mil, see how it cuts, and it cut really well. Actually, I have it here. The proof. So this is 6 mil.
Wow.
And this was cut on a Rayjet, clean cut. And it was done in like, I think 0.3% speed. So you can still go even thicker. You still have like a 0.2 speed of room there. Room speed.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, Heibolt asks a question here that I will throw over to Johnny. He asks about
Sure.
what is the glass tube? Does the Rayjet have a CO2 glass tube?
It does not, no. So the Rayjet has a tube of metal construction. It's what's known as an RF tube. The metal and ceramic tubes are RF CO2 tubes, and that basically means you can fire it a lot more quickly. So, for example, photo engraving almost completely off the table with a glass tube laser because it can't fire fast enough, and every shot of the laser can be just smashing your material to pieces. You really need a lot of control and a lot of finesse with your laser to get high quality engraving with it.
That's absolutely true. The glass tube, like the machine, like Johnny was showing you there, the 500 with the glass tube is sort of principally, I mean, certainly engraving is possible, but I think normally we would recommend that machine kind of for cutting applications.
I mean, just for like a little label on something, perfect, ideal. It's never going to be the fastest engraver or the one with the highest detail, but maybe you don't need that. Maybe it's just what you need it for. And if your work is predominantly cutting, it's a really great budget machine for that kind of work.
Exactly, man. I don't even know why you guys could do this without me. I'm beginning to suspect you've talked about these machines before.
Not at all, Don. It would crumble without you, mate.
I want to pop back to Amy's design here because I will say, and again, I hate to sort of bang on about the same stuff every week, but I do love that the three of you, particularly when you're busy designing and don't necessarily get to see what the others are doing, that the unique way that you each approach the problem really stands out. Like Amy is constructing a piece now also from geometric shapes, hearts in this particular case, which is like, and forgive me for saying so, very Amy, very on brand. But it's a lovely effect. It really looks nice. I'm curious, did you send that first design that you put together to the laser? Oh no, you're muted. I
did, yeah. While I'm sending that to the laser, I've actually got to start a new thing. I'm going to do a 3D card. Oh.
Wow.
I know. It happens to us every week.
Have you ever felt like you're completely out of your league?
Every week on Wednesdays, sir. Every week on Wednesdays. Funny how that seems to happen. Miguel made a mention of it earlier, and I want to get out of your guys' hair very quickly. I want to see if I can find some of these artists that we were talking about earlier in the stream. Lev was kind enough to show the Kumacrafts page, who are awesome. But I'm going to see if I can find some other stuff. I mean, I will say with absolutely no bias that we do have some of the most talented laser users in the world who own Trotec lasers.
His name is Gabriel Kama. If you want, yeah, that's the person. That I don't know, man. I want to do something like that if I have the time in a couple of years.
There he is, right? Why can I not remember how to type this? Yes, serious. Gabriel Shama, exactly like you said. Okay. Okay, I'm going to quickly share my screen. And I will say later in the stream, when we start to get towards the end of the hour here, I will get you guys to, you even posted it in the private chat. You're the best. I will get you guys to talk about the materials that you're using, because I'd love to show some of the materials in our material website. That's the wrong screen. Okay. There we have it. All of this achieved with laser. I don't believe in this particular case it's a Trotec, but for its inspirational value, we want to
take a look at his videos. Take a look at his videos. Like
his
how
videos
he,
in particular.
yeah. I mean, this is static. It looks insane, but he building that and working with lights. This is unbelievable. And it has like 27 layers, 32 layers of wood. It's mind blowing.
Yeah,
this guy can do.
Absolutely unbelievable. So my understanding, and I may be incorrect here, but my understanding is there's no, it's not it's just a projection of light onto the artwork. It's literally just static artwork plus.
This is was a co-op between two companies, him and a light company, right? A lights company, and this company is specialized in making those effects with lights and projections and all the stuff. So they make this co-op. But yeah, it's beyond insane what he can do.
Unbelievable.
And he building the file on Illustrator is amazing. Like, I think it takes forever, man. I was looking at one of his videos, like a speed making or whatever, in like a minute and a half. But I was like, geez, it's gonna take a week to make.
Don't get any ideas with that minute and a half. An hour is fine, trust me.
Yeah, the minute and a half laser challenge. Welcome to the. Thank you so much for watching.
I'll still be fighting with my mic at that point.
you and me both, I think. Another one that Miguel brought to my attention this week is Light and Paper Alley, which is these incredible paper cuts with a combination of paper cuts that are done by hand and then also using the Trotec. And it is just unbelievable stuff. I mean, she also does really innovative stuff with things like advent calendars, jewelry, this sort of thing. But for me in particular, I really think the paper cut pieces are beautiful.
She's pretty good, and I saw a video of her, like how she makes the laser cuts. The beginning of the design is actually handmade with the knife. I don't know, a precision knife or a bistury knife or something like that.
It's like a scalpel kind of looking knife, I think, right?
Scalpel, yes. So she's cutting the paper with scalpel, and then she takes a picture and vectorizes that, and then just keeps producing on the laser. This is just thinking that she can make that with her hands.
That's phenomenal, isn't it?
Crazy, man.
Well, there was one in particular. So while she was in quarantine, she was doing these special posts. I'll just show this one here really quickly. But she cut a nori using a knife for her sushi roll into this intricate flower pattern, and it's like unbelievable. I don't know. You guys, meaning both, the designers that I have with me, obviously here in the stream, and then obviously everyone watching at home, continue to blow me away with how talented you are and the way that you find to use the laser.
Can I just offer a couple of pro tips while I'm on this screen? I think Lev was on mine for a second there.
Absolutely. Hold on, Amy. I want to really quickly to show that piece again, though, really fast.
Okay.
Amy.
Go for it, Amy.
And it was really, really nice.
Oh no, it's okay. I just got something out of MDF. I'm going to use some pen to colour it in with some gel and some glossy accents.
Yes. I love the flashy accents. Okay. Johnny, please take it away, sir.
So, we're using the So the bit of Trolets here, just to cut part of this out. It's always good if you're working with Trolets. You start at the bottom of the workpiece and then work your way up from there. Just so you're blowing all the dust and debris up towards where you're extracting it. So it just keeps your workpiece a lot cleaner when you're working with the laminates.
100%. One we often forget to mention, but that is a good tip. One I wish I had known for some of my early. I will ask really quickly. You mentioned that you were going to use the Trolets. Are you also going to? So, just sort of speculating based on the design, are you also going to mount the piece sort of on a backing board, like on a thicker?
Myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically my plan was we were gonna. I don't know if you saw on Instagram the other day. I just did a really simple light up acrylic lamp with the side lit LED lamps.
I think I saw it, but I am gonna pull it up just in case.
It was a Space Marine helmet because obviously it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Because of course it is.
Yeah. Basically, I just wanted to, because I've got a few of those, so I just wanted to use that. I was going to illuminate part of it. We're going to stick some Trolets on and just see what we can do with it, really.
Oh, Johnny.
Might be terrible, might be amazing.
I think it's terrible about this. Sorry, Miguel had a, yeah. Come on, we've got the laser cam up, and I want to know. There we go. Okay. I want to show this off because earlier this week, well, I say this week, in the last 7 days, God, that's so cool, Johnny. We spoke with a company here in Canada, Schooner Labs. The gentleman was kind enough to sit down with us on Friday and join us for an interview, and he makes sort of additions for 40K and all sorts of tabletop, like Gloomhaven, all sorts of tabletop games. And yeah, for whatever reason, Warhammer has been a huge part of the Trotec experience this week here in Canada. It was so cool. Yeah, so Lev posted on the post here about another Warhammer fan, but I would have said the exact same thing. That's really, really cool.
Warhammer has a lot of minis. That's why. A lot of tokens as well.
Very true.
I want to see more D&D, man. Like, where are my D&D people at? I want to see Dungeons and Dragons.
To be honest, things like tabletop games, crafts, model railways, there have been sectors that have been absolutely buoyant this year because there's been a lot of people sat at home twiddling their thumbs like, let's do the hobbies then, let's have some fun. So it's been quite a good year for those kind of industries for fun.
100%. A good year for fun.
Don't quote me on that.
No, I mean, I agree.
Controversial.
Sort of on topic, Marcus posted in the comments about he's loving Amy's art attacks as usual. Miguel, that's been really great, man.
Oh, cool.
That's really, really nice.
So now it has some thickness, it looks like a block. Yeah. Look at it.
That's gorgeous, man. That's really well done.
Rayjet for you.
That was like a Zach Bay. Details.
Look at the font. I picked this font especially because it's really, really like fine and cursive to make sure that I could show the details.
Is that a font you had to download, Miguel?
Yes, I had to download, but I did that on Adobe Fonts. So it's on my Adobe Creative Cloud. And no, we're not sponsored by Adobe, but I'm just saying that's a pretty good place for you to go and search for fonts. And
that's exactly right. That's true.
But if they want to sponsor me, I'm cool.
Tina, yeah. I think the soldier turned out nice, man. I think it's really good.
Yeah. Let's go to the next one.
I was going to say, did you have something in mind already for the poppy? Do you know kind of what you'd like to do?
Not really, no.
Those are the best ones. Well, you've got about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Really? I better get on with it.
So Doug, yeah, Miguel used and I'll pull up the site here in a second, but Miguel used a piece of our veneer.
Walnut veneer.
Yeah, the walnut veneer, exactly. Which
I use this one so much. This is what I know.
So I should make a mention, and I should thank Lev for reminding me. Just, obviously in the spirit of the holiday, the symbolism of the poppy is a pretty, important one, obviously. I don't want to get into it too much. Certainly, I don't want to, talk, be telling tales out of school or anything like that. But I know that, it's a really special day to get to sort of, just out of respect for, people in the military and people who've, sacrificed for their countries and stuff that, clearly that's something that's very meaningful and very, very important. So, I'm glad that we get to have a lot of fun and stuff today, but at the same time, obviously all this stuff is done out of great respect for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
John, I'd just like to remind people that if they do want to sell Remembrance Day stuff, do clear where the money's going to as well. If it's either going to be yourself or it's going to charity.
That's a very, very good point.
People do sell Remembrance stuff, but don't clarify where the money's going.
That is
it is a charity.
Yeah, 100%. That is a very, very, very good point. I think also to bear in mind, we do a lot of stuff on the stream, and this is perhaps not, as important, but I think we do a lot of stuff on the stream that uses, like we were even talking about the piranha plant earlier, that uses perhaps copyrighted characters and things like that as well. Clearly, while that stuff is definitely sold on Etsy, just make sure that you're being really careful about that stuff. If you're ever using, something that's not, an original character or anything like that, just that you're clearing that stuff ahead of time. But no, Amy, you make a really good point. Thank you for mentioning that. That's absolutely true. I will, as promised, pop over to the web store here really, really fast, just because I would like to show you guys. Quickly. So this will not be exactly the same for the UK, I'm afraid. Amy or Johnny, off the top of your head, I don't suppose you know the URL for the materials store in the UK.
Go for it, Johnny.
Time. I believe it's engraving-supplies.co.uk. And
yes, I believe that
if that is wrong, it's been a pleasure working with you all. And
give our regards back to Formula One. Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you, Love. I was 99% certain, but I figured I would go to the experts. And since they're not here with us, I've asked Amy and Johnny. We're exactly the same in Canada, obviously. Engraving-supplies.ca. Thank you, Lev. You're the best. Johnny mentioned he was using some trolleys, which is just appeared in our plastics section. A lot of different kinds of trolleys, but don't let that throw you. The trolleys is always sort of based off the same principle of, a material with a one-color core, and then, in the very simplest, sort of explanation, you'll have a solid core of one particular color. So in this case, it's the solid white core, and then a colored plastic that's layered on top, a very thin layer there. So in this case, everything that you engraved on this will turn white, obviously, because you're removing that pink layer. The trolleys comes in either 2 or 3 layers. So you'll either have, like a pink white in this case, or down here you have like a black white black. But we have it available in tons and tons of colors. And then the other trolleys that you see here are all just sort of different iterations on that basic idea. Lev mentions very rightly that the gold that Miguel was using is from our trolleys thins, which again, same idea, one color core. So in this case, it was a black with a brushed gold on top. And I would note too, if you look at Miguel's design, either when you watch it back or if we get to show it again, that the gold color looks very, very authentic, or at least close to like a metallic gold. That thank you, Lev. That it is, it's used by a lot of trophy manufacturers and stuff like that, and passes as real metal, obviously for far less money, and also just because it's far easier to work with. Trying to handle real metal obviously is going to be considerably more difficult, depending on your skill set, and considerably more expensive. So yeah, the trolleys is a nice option. And then finally, last thing I wanted to show is the veneer hood that Miguel was using. And we can always come back. I know you guys love seeing our materials website. Don't everybody jump in at once. So here's the walnut that Miguel was using. It's on us. It's never too late, man. There's always the reruns, and we're always happy you can come, even if it's at the end of the stream, start of the stream, whatever it might be. The veneered wood is really, really great because it has that beautiful kind of shiny coating that you saw in Miguel's design, but then also it comes in a bunch of different colors and stuff. So yeah, you can do so many cool things with Trotec materials. I hope you won't hesitate if you ever have any questions to shoot, myself or, one of my colleagues in the UK. I believe, oh my gosh, how am I going to blank on her name now?
So just to expand on that ever so quickly, we do in the UK have like a monthly Q&A session on YouTube. So if anyone does have any questions, they're always welcome to drop us a line.
I would highly suggest it. In fact, I would recommend that Q&A. I will say when I came to Trotec, the materials were one of the toughest things for me to learn about. The lasers, once you kind of, and I don't know if you'd agree with this, Johnny, but kind of the lasers, I've always told people that once you get, oh, thank you, Lev, you're the best. Lev's just going to pull up the Trotec Laser UK YouTube channel here. I think once you sort of get your head around how one of the lasers works, once you've learned how to use this BD100, I feel like you can feel pretty confident in approaching any of the other speedies. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That sort of the guts of how the laser works sort of stays the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same wavelength of light. It's the same process basically, but it scales very nicely. And from the Rayjet up to the really big kit, it's all the same process really. And now we've had the new software update for the Rayjet. It's all very, very similar to use. It's almost identical, the workflow between like a Rayjet and a 3000 now.
That's very, very true. I think it's one of those things that, though, unfortunately, the materials can't say, where the materials can sometimes be sort of intimidating.
Names?
Just because you have to kind of find your way around, the perfect settings for things. Like, Amy, I'm curious. Oh, she's in the middle of doing something. I'm sorry, I'm always interrupting.
No, it's okay.
It's basically my job on the stream, I'm afraid.
We're doing
that's really lovely, Amy.
Yours is
really
wildly superior to mine, but we'll keep going.
Oh no, that's cool.
I think 10 minutes is fine.
Just gonna add something to the accent.
Oh, don't let that timer fool you, Johnny. We'll go slightly past the end of that timer because we started late as I was chatting.
One and a bit hour chat.
Yeah, I am. Exactly. Yeah, it didn't. If you look on the logo, really, really small. Miguel's been nice enough to engrave it in tiny, small letters. The one and
asterisk.
A bit.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Or until they finish.
Yeah, at the bottom of the wall is where you'll find the footnote that specifies exactly how many minutes.
We'll start it from when I stopped mucking around with microphones. And
no, not at all. Well, I need to hold you to getting you to show us around the workshop really quickly if you can, even to just do like a 360 cam at the end of the stream.
Here?
Yeah, I mean,
we certainly can do that. Yeah. We're in the Guildford showroom here, which is one of the bigger ones in the UK. This area we've got all our speedies, we've got the Rayjets. Through the other side we've got the Galvos, which is kind of my specialty, and the 2002. But just a little bit of Trotec lore. In the summer, we open these shutters up and just glorious sunshine comes in, but it's not quite as pleasant as that because just across the way there is a swimming pool shop. So we've got to see these beautiful swimming pools over there, and we've got to stand here working with the lasers and just longingly look to sit by them with a mojito, but it's just not happening.
That is a tricky one. I'm gonna say I haven't got a funny witticism for that. I'm afraid that sounds difficult. That sounds tricky. I won't lie. Had you ever thought about, perhaps I don't know if you've ever gotten to see the YouTube video we have for the giant stained glass window we made from Troglass, but
I don't think I have. No.
I mean, I know certainly the shutters make it a little bit more difficult, but perhaps if we filled that out with a very nice, pastoral scene made of Troglass as opposed to perhaps. Here, I'll pop back. Amy, I think.
Yeah, I'm starting to do the paper poppies now. I'm going to make it into a 3D card, so when you actually open it up, they'll basically burst out of the page.
That's really cool. Amy, I have to ask, did you do papercraft before, buying the Trotec? Oh, thank you, Lev. There's the window that I was talking about there. It's if you guys are ever interested, it's a piece that was done by Anthony for us several years ago, and it's in honor of the.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it turned out really beautifully. And I really have a fondness for it because it is very Canadian, and I don't know, anyone who's been fortunate enough to see we've showed it a few times, but the videos of the Mexico City showroom where they have a lot of really beautiful, sort of art, but it's culturally appropriate, obviously, for being in Mexico. And seeing that, and then what we've done here in Canada, it makes me always want to sort of suggest to other Trotecs that, like, I'm so excited to see what you might build in the UK, given the incredible amount of talent and stuff that I know that you guys have. But I'm sorry, Amy. So I was going to ask you about the papercraft, because to be honest with you, trying to figure out how to build a 3D card, I would not have a clue.
Just a lot of sticking and making sure it's in the right places.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
There's plenty of videos out there if anyone's curious how to do a 3D flower pop-up, but it's doable.
I am curious. I'm gonna find out.
I'm actually going to start making the main thing of this now with an entire 3 minutes remaining.
No, go for it. You've got probably about 10. I'm going to say we're going to go till about 5 after, 7 after. I know Miguel is busy designing. I see.
I'm actually looking at the video now because I had no idea that you guys did that with like a piece of acrylic on the back. I thought you actually assembled that on the window, and I was that's why it took forever.
There's a thin piece of acrylic underneath to hold it all. Yeah, because it's If it had been assembled in the window, I think that would have been. I would still be underway. I'm pretty sure. Like 3 years later. I was going to ask.
I don't know if this is gonna look good, man. Like
I think it's gonna look good. I like it so far, man. It's cool. It's very much in like the Miguel, like the cool, like sketchy style.
You don't know if it works. Right?
I don't want to tip my hand. I think it looks cool. I don't want to tip my hand too hard. But when you were talking about using the painting tool in Corel earlier, I realized a good challenge, perhaps. It looks like what Dali would draw for a poppy. I mean, Dali was okay, I guess. I mean, he's no Miguel. But
this is one of the things that I gotta work and like study a lot is patterns and all the stuff, because I think the laser can do so many cool stuff, like you guys saw in Gabriel Schama. I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, and I'm sorry if he ever sees this, but this is the kind of thing that if you know how to properly make, you can go crazy with lasers, man. Like, you can do so many cool stuff. I remember seeing a guy that he made I think he came here, right? Or that was back when we went to that show in Niagara Falls. He was talking about the CNC machine, and he showed us like a bear that he made like the size of a wall. Was that with me and you, Don?
Yeah, it was. It was at the show in Niagara Falls. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and that was insane, right? Like he did like some sculptures with lasers, but that's always with the geometric kind of shapes in mind and doing those patterns to make it look cool. Very sketchy guy.
Well, and that was in Miguel. I should say, like one of the very first weeks that Miguel was here at the office, he had to come to a trade show with me out of town. So we went up to Niagara Falls, and sort of like it was Miguel's very first trade show with Trotec was in his first, I want to say, like 10 days at Trotec. Like it was trial by fire. I mean, absolutely, but I mean, as you guys have seen, Miguel is like a very, very good, I think, foil for my just constant stream of like just silliness.
You don't give yourselves enough credit, you boys. Seriously.
Well, I think it's just we'd like to acknowledge that we feel very fortunate, I think, to get to do what we do.
Not quite. I mean, if 6-year-old me knew my job was basically shoot lasers at things, he'd have think.
Shoot laser at things.
I constantly say that to people. Like, what do you do? It's like, okay, this is going to sound silly, but I need you to stick with me just for a minute. Basically.
I love how I summarize to my friends, like when they ask me what I work. It's like, I'm a laser teacher, and they're like, what? Like, yeah, laser teacher.
It's true. I watched them do it.
Genuine job title.
Yeah.
I teach people how to laser.
So yeah, I mean, it must be true.
They're like, what do you mean you teach people how to laser? It's like, yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, buy a laser and I'll show you.
No, just like completely unironically, it is just such a fun job with so much variety, and seeing all the creativity that people show with them, and just the range of applications people come to you and just go, can we do this? Can we do that? And even sometimes we just say, don't know, let's try it. Let's see what we can do. It's never dull. It's never boring.
Those are my favorite ones, actually.
Never ever.
Well, and again, and I like I say, I hate to bang on about this all the time, but I think Amy is perfect proof that, I mean, by and large, the designers that I get to interact with come from more of a graphics background. It's just been, sort of, my good fortune to meet a lot of, graphic designers through this job. But Amy is a perfect example about how somebody who comes from more of a traditional arts background can make just as good, if not better, use of the laser in a more sort of untraditional way. Or, I mean, Johnny, the Space Marine helmet that you made, right? I mean, like, that might be kind of a classic application, but it's the twist of, who you are on top of how you use the laser that makes it kind of special, right?
100%. And now I've got a showroom that myself and my colleague Trevor basically have to ourselves. We can just go crazy and just do whatever we like. So to start with, I thought, do I dial back all the really nerdy stuff? Like, no, let's just go ham with it and just build the place.
Yeah.
Go hard or go home.
I should say too. So part of the go full nerd. Thank you, Lev. Part of the reason that you actually first came to our attention, I should say, the very first time I saw your Trotec account, I didn't realize that first day that you worked for Trotec. I thought perhaps you were just a really avid fan, and so I saw Johnny Trotec, and I thought, yeah, that's true, right? But I thought, like, oh man. I think that was the first week I ever put Donnie Trotec as my name in the stream. So you should know, even before we knew for certain, I was, we've been a fan for a while. I should say, okay, there we go. So we're nearing the end here. Johnny, can I see that again really fast?
Second story? Oh yeah. So this was the first off. So basically, the idea here was just a poppy that doesn't really fall off. So we got the 3M tape on the back. Just
awesome. I could have used one of those.
Right.
Let's stick that on the Rayjet just for fun. So I've got a couple of minutes on my on the actual project. So
go for it. Go
Rayjet, go.
Amy, that's lovely. That's really nice.
There we go.
Oh, look at that.
Dang it.
Two this week.
I won't be able to finish my poppy in time 100%, but I will take a picture of it, guys.
That looks really cool, Johnny.
Or maybe not.
I do want to say that's the... Oh, no.
We've got 4 minutes. Come on, Rayjet, you can do it. Do it in 3.
Go ahead,
I do want to say that this Rayjet, like doing the laser challenges and just doing everything else with the laser, does mean I can just do the fun part. It just speeds everything up, but leaves me to do the fun parts. Like, like instead of cutting everything down, because it does get tiring using the scissors, so you have to like find other ways around it. But that's way more cool.
The thing is, I mean,
bought in the UK that have literally been bought because someone was just tired of using scissors for everything.
I should say, Lev just reminded me on the back end here, and he makes a very, very good point that we also have, I think, almost in focus. There it is. We do sell pinbacks. We have so much cool stuff in our accessories in the back end of our website. Do not hesitate to check it out. We have magnets and pinbacks and all sorts of really cool things. You can make a custom pin using something like this exactly by peeling off that little sticker in the front and sticking it to a poppy or whatever you decide, and then right onto your shirt. So you could do this at home, actually, and I would highly suggest it. How many did Amy make while Miguel draws one? Thomas, it's not about the number. I would actually love to see.
I don't even get a mention. It's just
Ha ha ha!
take the L.
Come on, man. Like, here.
Do the
I
first finishing? Yes.
I was actually the first to finish today. So, yep. You have nothing on me.
You have nothing on this man.
I will say yes. So the outlaw, and it sounds
Sir
like
Enchantano.
it sounds from our marketing, but the only thing that stands in your way or the only sort of limit is your creativity. But it's true.
The
and
only
even
limit is your limited imagination.
yes, exactly. I think the other thing too to really drive home is so Thomas Enchantonner. He joined us a few weeks ago, also for a laser jam, like a Friday interview session, and okay, so he joined us a couple weeks ago for a Friday interview session, and he does beautiful work that starts out as a hand sketch, but then transitions over into principally woodworking. His stuff is really, really beautiful, and I would say he talks such a big game in the comments. Perhaps if he were to do a custom design this week and post it up to Instagram, I could throw down the gauntlet. Too tempting. No, I know. I mean, don't forget, Thomas, that basically represents my entire. That's my entire job description in this stream. I'm afraid is just essentially be chaotic neutral. But I think definitely don't miss out on going back if you haven't seen it to watch that video. Thomas does beautiful work.
Nah, Thomas, you're right. I'm just, today at least I came prepared. So when that happens, good stuff happens.
Absolutely.
I'm not prepared, and I try to wing it during the stream. I'm way too. How do you call me, Don?
Ambitious.
Yes. See, these guys.
Aim for the stars with it every time.
Exactly.
You say ambitious, I say Icarus.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and if you miss, aim for the stars, and if you miss, you'll land with a space marine.
We were like what 15-3. I only failed the challenge like 3 times.
That's true.
There's like 15 successes. So as far as I'm concerned, we were winning.
I want to throw that. Yeah,
this is going to be my very first failure. So
hashtag. No, it's not. This is the thing. As long as it's in the laser, it counts. That's always the rule. As long as it's in the laser, it counts. That's
don't like to bend the rules, but I gotta tell you what.
It's down to the Rayjet then. So after my part.
I also failed my first challenge. Actually, Amy was the one that saved us on the first challenge with the 80s pad, because that one was. I don't know what I was thinking when I did it. Yeah.
I want to throw this out there before I forget this idea, because I would love if anybody in chat thinks it's a good idea. Please let us know, and I'll see if we can convince the powers that be. But Miguel using a Corel tool earlier to do the poppies, or telling us about how you're using the painting tool in Corel. Thomas, that's so cool. Thank you. No pressure, obviously, but I would love to see what you do with it, because I think your style is very well suited to the poppy. But I think maybe we should try and do a challenge where we have Miguel switch over to Corel for a week, and possibly. Yes, we should have.
Yeah, but a lot of people tend to be one side or the other of that fence, don't they? I mean, I'm not the greatest illustrator, he says modestly, but no, it'd be the equivalent of me trying to write with my feet if I tried to use Illustrator. I've been using Corel for like 12 years now, and absolutely no intention of changing.
2021, I'll be doing the Corel one. I 100%. This is it's being recorded, so it's gonna be out there 2021. Not before.
Okay, I will hold you to it. 2021. I mean, that's a tough one. I won't lie. Like trying to switch up. Johnny's exactly right. Trying to switch up the thing that you're used to using. I mean, that's tricky.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, I have a whole workflow. Like my hands feel at home when I'm doing Illustrator. Like they know already where to go to find the shortcuts. But when I'm doing like Corel Draw, I'm like, oh my god, I have to click 15 times to Do something so simple.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point of the software, the way that the speedies and the Rayjets are set up, of course, doesn't it? So it just fits in with what you're doing. You use your favorite program, and then you just hit print, and then magic happens. So it's kind of the point that not everyone can use every software, and just use what you're comfortable with.
This is a real salesman. He just got my failure in using Corel Draw. I transformed that in like sales pitch. That
into a win, yeah. Well, and particularly because Johnny is, as he mentioned, sort of an expert with the Galvos, principally, right? Like I've seen people do stuff with Galvos that I have no clue how they accomplish, but the Galvos have their own whole software world beyond, job control.
Yeah, Galvos are awesome. They're just such a different animal to the flatbed machines, but yeah, honestly, some of the stuff you can do with it.
Again, I want to take the time just really quickly here at the end of the stream. Oh,
I know that guy.
There's the the monument that Lev principally was the mastermind behind this project, but the monument he did to Vimy Ridge, I think, was really, really beautiful. It came out really beautifully. Again, it being Remembrance Day, like I don't want to hit it too much on the head. I don't know too much necessarily about the history, but it's one of those times that I'm glad we get to. We were sort of thinking, we felt kind of bad that we got to do an entire month of Spooky Month, and then Remembrance Day kind of comes and goes in just one day. But if you get a chance, try and do something special today if you can, to sort of just. Even if it's just to take a minute and kind of, in appreciation of that sort of stuff.
No, quite right.
Lev mentions too about potentially speaking to the history of the poppy as a symbol, but I don't necessarily know a lot of the history of the poppy as a symbol. If there's anyone either in the chat or certainly either Johnny or Amy, if you guys know about it, otherwise, I can task our audience to go out and let's all learn together about the poppy. But again, it's just it's a wonderful day to try and show some much deserved respect and admiration for a group of.
I haven't run away. I'm still here, I promise.
Oh no, I know.
It's to do with the flowers, of course, that grew in the fields after World War I as a symbol of remembrance from that. It's the very, very bare bones version of the history of it.
That was my understanding as well. Awesome. Yeah, the poem as well, right? The Miguel Engraved, the in Flanders Fields.
Mm-hmm.
I should say also, this piece that Lev did features a really cool topographic map. I don't know if Lev, he can hear the stream, hey?
Yeah, he can.
Yeah. I shouldn't tell so many jokes about him then. I was gonna say.
He agrees.
He agrees. I was curious.
I can speak if you'd like.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask about the topographic map specifically, about how you went about building the topographic piece of it, because I think it's sort of a bit like the piece that Miguel did last week in the stream, the sort of multi-layered wood piece that Miguel did. But I had 3 different people ask me this week about topographic maps, and you reminded me that I wanted to kind of get a chance to hopefully talk about it on the stream.
Yeah, I'm posting the link now. You can see the maparchive.com. I actually reached out to them. They sell topographical map designs, and I asked them to basically give us one free. Like, we're not reselling it. We're just using it as a project for the commemoration of the Battle of Vimy Ridge, and they were happy to do it. You can check them out there, the maparchive.com. There's tons of websites where you can get designs for topographical maps. And that's basically where I got it. Oh, let's go back to
Johnny.
I'm surprised everyone Johnny's made something. Well, let's go back on Rayjet Cam and say my attempt, for want of a better word. So.
You can do it, John.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's so cool.
That's really well done.
We've gone for the acrylic lamp underneath, just trying to illuminate the leaf and the stem and the grass and everything, and just with the Chole's poppy and with a little bit of black acrylic on the front as well. So
that's really
it's so much harder when you've actually got to do it, isn't it? It's
really hard. It seems so much easier when you're watching, but it's no joke.
This is a really cool idea. I never thought about it, but using the color of the LED to create an entire piece, like he basically made the green part of the poppy as a line. Now you gave me some ideas. Cool.
Glad to help.
Can I ask on the stem of the poppy? Is that a piece of green acrylic, or have you carved a pattern in it to
It's
light to
engraved
follow
into
up?
the clear. So
Yeah, clear acrylic, man. And
yeah, we just engraved on the clear.
it's the same LED that we have here that changes the light colors.
That's
You know?
so
Yeah,
cool.
so we just,
But I
I don't know
was-
if you can see, quick the side
just the
profile just with the
poppy,
various
that's
layers of it.
fine.
I was curious though, is it like by doing the engraving, because the light travels all the way up the piece? Is it just because of the engraving that it follows the shape
It
of
just
the?
goes, transmits through the plastic and then just catches on the side, and that's what we're seeing with it.
That's gorgeous. That's really well done, Johnny.
Thank you very much, sir. Too kind as always.
Oh, not at all. That's wow.
And then
you
the
guys
other little
really-
bit of backed trolleys on the front. We'll keep that on the Rayjet.
I gotta say, wow, you guys really blew it out of the water this week. I'm like very wow. Can I see that? Can I see that card again once as well? I'm not sure if Miguel got to see it, but I really think it is like really, really lovely.
Ooh.
That is
That's so cool.
amazing.
Right? The number of flowers I feel like really extra sells it. It creates kind of that beautiful like. That's so cool, man. Okay, I fully expect all of us to post these things up on Instagram so that anybody who didn't get to see the stream can definitely check this stuff out. Yes, definitely. We got to show off that plaque for sure. That's really well done.
Sure, yeah.
And then if Miguel has a chance, you guys should know that Miguel obviously is a very, very busy man. But if he has a chance to finish up the poppy this afternoon, his custom poppy, or possibly this week, I will see what I can do to get him to post that up online as well. Yeah, amazing, Amy. There are so many nice comments, you guys. I don't want to hog the stream here just with all these lovely comments, but we should say, at least speaking for myself and Miguel, I think we feel very, very lucky that you guys join us every Wednesday. Doing this stream is a lot of fun, and getting to have people like Amy and Johnny on is like a real treat. So we're so glad you guys keep watching, and I hope you'll come back next week and see what other cool stuff we decide to come up with.
Hopefully we haven't scared them away.
Yeah, what are the foolish things? Yes, Johnny, obviously you're welcome back next week. You're welcome back anytime. We would love to have you.
It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. No, it's been great fun. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. No, not at all. I mean, you let us know. You give us about 5 minutes notice, and you're welcome anytime.
That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I could not think of a better point to go out on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Huge respect and love to all the veterans and currently serving people out there. Happy Remembrance Day to everyone. Don't forget to join us again next week. And if you have a chance today, obviously, if you can get a poppy, or you can even just, call a loved one that, would appreciate it. I'm sure it'll be a perfect day to do it. All the best, guys. We will see you again next week.